Warning: the content of the video that you are about to watch pertains to the harvest of fur-bearing wildlife through the practice of ethical, sound wildlife management of modern-day trapping. If this bothers you, if it triggers you in any way, shape, or form, please leave this channel now. Hey trappers, Dale Billingsley here, Billingsley Brand Lures. Guys, I don't have a whole lot for you today, but what I do have I feel is kind of important. And what I want to do is kind of pay homage to some of the men who have came before us and have got us from where we started into where we are now, as far as methods and as far as trap modifications and those kind of things. And I want to kind of go over some of the guys that I have tried to follow and tried to emulate in my style of trapping. You know, I took some of theirs and mixed it with some of mine and came up with my own style. And that's kind of why I started this channel too, was in hopes that, you know, maybe you would take some of my style and mix it with some of yours to come up with your own way of doing things as well. So let's just kind of jump off into this. As far as for predators, the guys that I have followed or tried to follow would be, you know, Craig O'Gorman, John Ian, Herb Lennon, Bill Nelson, those type of men. You know, I just purchased Roy Kuykendall's book. You know, another one that was just absolutely fantastic. Wayne King is another one. Wiley Miles, those kind of men who have the numbers behind them. You know, I'm not talking about guys that have went out here and killed 100. You know, not that that isn't something. I'm not saying that, but I'm talking about men who have went out and killed thousands. There's a big difference whether I'm killing tens or whether I'm killing hundreds. Those are the kind of men who I tried to study and try to emulate, as well as, you know, some of the newer ones too. You know, there's, you know, a good friend of mine in Ohio, Jim Cundiff, taught me a lot about coyotes. You know, and that list, you know, and there's too many of them to list. There's, you know, Johnny Thorpe, who is a good friend of mine. You know, those kind of men. Pete and Ron Leggett on Red Fox. You know, I'm sorry, I'm kind of stumbling here, but you know, there's just so many of them who I've been fortunate enough to call friend, as well as to try to learn from as well. I have been very blessed as far as that goes. You know, I've been able to not only associate with, but trap with some of the best trappers in the country. And they have helped me develop into what I am, what the trapper that I am. Not that I'm any better than anybody else. That's not what I'm getting at. It's just the fact that I've had a better opportunity because this is what I've chose to do for a living. And then you go off into, you know, the coon men. You know, I thought, you know, the first time I ever caught 1,000, I thought I was, you know, king of the walk. You know, I walked into those conventions like I was on top of the world. And then I started hearing about guys like Mike Anderson and Daryl Fleet, you know, who were consistently between, you know, 2,700 to 3,500 coon a season. And here I am sitting at 1,000 thinking I'm something. I'm like, oh, okay. So there's a whole nother level here that I haven't even gotten to yet. You know, it's amazing. It will teach you humility real quick. Let's just put it that way. You know, so there's a whole world out there and a whole plethora of information. Now it's getting down to the point to where you have to sift the wheat from the chaff, so to say. You know, you can, you know, and no matter whose methods I've ever gotten, whether it was a book, a DVD, a VHS tape, whatever it was, personal instructions, whatever it was, I've always gained something from them. May not always been much, but it was always something. So, you know, buying the books and the videos and watching the YouTube videos, there's always something to learn from somebody. if nothing else, you know, if you're watching my videos, you can always use them as a bad example. You know, this is, hey, this is what you don't want to do. You know, those kind of things. So there's always something to learn from these things. I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Like I said, this isn't, you know, there's not a whole lot of earth-shattering information in this video, but I do feel like, you know, we need to go back into the annals of history just a little bit, and we would find out that some of the things that we think are new have already been done in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and they're only new because they're new to us, because we've never seen it before, we've never used it before, we've never heard about it before. But if we would go back into history a little bit, we would find out that that stuff's already been done. And basically all we're doing is just reinventing the wheel again. There's really not a whole lot of new earth-shattering information out there. You know, there really hasn't been anything new come along probably since the 60s, you know, and maybe even before that. You know, a coyote is still a coyote, a mink is still a mink, a beaver is still a beaver, no matter where you go. You know, you can talk to such and such and they say, oh, well, they're different in my area. No, they're still the same animal. We just have to treat them different. Now, granted, I understand that animals are evolving all the time and we have to evolve with them. As the day you stop learning, the day you stop evolving, that's the day you become a dinosaur. And you will get left behind. So we have to always stay up with the animal, and the animal is always going to be the best teacher. I can show you the basics. I can show you things of what to do from the years that I've learned them. Hello, Timber. But the animal is always going to be your best teacher. So don't ever forget that. Guys, like I said, I know this isn't a whole lot, but I do feel like it needed to be done. I appreciate y'all tuning in to watch, and if you would please just hit that thumbs up for me. That's all I'm asking. And once again, this is Dale Billingsley with another one, signing out.